2 or 3 years ago, I guess, and through the Hernando Arts Council, and we worked at DeSoto Arts Council camp for children. She was an artist, I was an assistant. So we just hit it off, and she hit it off with my granddaughter Elizabeth McGee, and she's just wonderful. I was so amazed at the pictures she had of her, all the work she's done throughout the country. She just travels and does this fabulous stuff. So she said she graduated from American Floral Art School in Chicago in 1993 and began her career. She's designed for many different venues, ranging from traditional floral shops to events. She's also worked in wholesale. She's had the honor of being invited to participate in the Art of Bloom event at the Rockford Art Museum from 2016 to 2019. She served as a committee member for this event, and it was a true passion of hers. While living in Illinois, she served on the Illinois State Floral Board from 2016 to 2020. She received her Illinois Certified Professional Florist certification in 2018. She's also participated in the Art of in the Elements event in 2019 and 2020. This event mixed nature and fresh botanicals in large outdoor installations at Meadowbrook Hall, with themes such as past, present, and future, and the next year storybooks and fairy tales. She was on the Tennessee State Floral Board from 2019 to 2021. It was an honor to serve as chair of several committees. In 2020, she was inducted to the American Institute of Floral Designers. That same year, she joined the Southern Chapter Board of AIFD, and during her time there, chaired the Phoenix Rising Project, which was a fundraiser for the David Shover Fund, where they united designers from all over the world, and on the same day, made Phoenix a public place to give back to our communities. She didn't mention some more recent things that she said she will, including, where's Debbie?
I saw you, I thought I wasn't gonna get to come, so I said, I don't have to pay to come, no, I'm sorry, I don't have to pay to come to your workshop at Dixon. I'm sure
Okay.
2 workshops
But you
coming
wanna
up
come.
at Dixon.
You wanna
I would
come
pay
and help.
anyway, I didn't mean that, but.
So we are delighted to have Patty here with us today, and she's got, so thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I am a freelance floral designer, so it's a little bit different career than what most people are used to. I don't work in a standard shop. I go all over. Like last weekend, I was in Little Rock, Dallas, back to Little Rock, back to here. I did 4 states in 2 days at about $155,000 worth of floral installations with a team of designers. So at the end of the month, I'll be in Omaha working on a totally different project. So it's kind of fun. I have friends all over the world, and I'm working in Italy for the summer. I was booked for an event company there, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, how do you turn down Italy for the summer, right? Exactly. I'll be at about a half an hour outside of Florence. Like, even if I don't get to go anywhere, I'll be in Italy. So it's my passion. One of you asked me if I dream about flowers. Yes, all the time. I dream, I sketch, I drive my husband crazy. I keep my sketchbook and I pull my covers over, and he's like, just get up and sketch. You're keeping me awake anyway. I have lots of projects coming up. Currently, I'm working on my PFCI, my professional speaking program, which is Susie's videoing me so I can get practice being on camera. So I hope no one minds being on video. Let me start with talking a little bit about my flowers that I have. My passion is floral art and art for your home. So with me, you're not gonna get your typical dozen roses in a vase with baby's breath and leather leaf. I don't have anything against leather leaf, there's just so many other cooler foliages that you can do things with. And with the designs, I've done stuff that if you wanted to harvest from your yard, there's flowers that would work, and you could do them to copy what I've done. So, first I did, since it's spring, although it was snowing this morning when I came in, I did tulips. Do you guys put tulips in your house to force them? Or is that a northern thing? You do it too? Okay. So I have foam down here, and the moisture will come up and your tulips will go in with some mood moss. And then I build an armature. I love structures, and armatures are my absolute, they're my favorite. So as they come up, then you can take some different wires, you know, as they're growing up. And just kind of turn, take this one off the base. I like to play with wire, so, you know, you can add to it as your stems come up and you're wanting to support them. You can always add something through here. And just kind of keep playing with it, and they'll grow up and you can support them and twist them. Does anybody know the trick when you get your pot tulips to make them stand up straight so that they don't flop over? A little bit of rubbing alcohol in the water. If you want them to stand straight up. But you have to think about what you want to do, because if you get all of your tulips and you make them all stand straight up, it's then hard to, you know, get your line going to the side. But rubbing alcohol, we don't waste vodka, because some of my friends say, like, put a little vodka in there. No, 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 we don't waste the vodka. Today's actually Polish vodka day. In case you're all.
You rub it up and down on the stem?
No, just a little drop in your water.
In the water, okay.
Yeah, you can do it with Gerber daisies too. If
Okay.
you grow any of those in your, because sometimes they get kind of soft, the stem, and I want them to be really crisp, and depending on your application. So here's another piece I wanted to show you. I love different styled containers. Even if I have a regular cylinder vase, I'm going to enhance it. You're not gonna get from me just the same old, like you said, dozen roses with baby's breath, not gonna happen. So here's an M&M vase, and I put some of the mini callas in it. And when I got these yesterday, they were a little bit old. You can actually take the mini callas, and the more you rub them, but these are kinking because they're kind of old, and you could actually reflex them all the way out. But I don't want to break the stems, so I'm gonna just kind of let them do their own thing. And then I took some of the aluminum wire and just twisted it. And what it does is it builds an armature. It's kind of like a modern day frog. Do you remember the pokey frogs that we used to use? It's a, you know, so you can just stick your stems in and it'll help hold them in place. See, he's bent.
Can you explain again about the rubbing the stems of that?
So these stems are old and it's not going to do what I want it to. If they were really fresh, you can massage the stems. You're actually breaking down the cells in it a little bit. And if I have them fresh enough, I can actually get them to totally curl. A calla lily, if it's been hydrated properly, does not need to be in water. It can go 6 to 7 days without water and still will look absolutely fabulous. But when they're old, they get a kink in them. And I don't want to see the kink, that bothers me. But you just kind of keep playing with it. You know, and then when you play with the others, you know, we could bind that one together if they were all coming down. You can see here with the lily grass, I've actually tied it to the wire and then tied it to each other to make the pattern come up.
I love that wire.
The aluminum wire, I love it. I have cases and cases of it. I use it in everything, and it comes in all kinds of different colors. So this here is a cylinder inside. Got it from the Dollar Tree. It's left over from my daughter's wedding. And I took shish kebab skewers. I have tons of shish kebab skewers. So what I did was I used these sticky glue tabs. It's kind of, they're like if you're making photo albums, that kind of tape. And I put them on there, and then I rubber band them, and then I covered it, because I don't want to see any of my mechanics. So then, I don't know, we can probably pass this around. I took the skewers, and by going through, I made a grid that I was able to pop the flowers in. So you could do this at home, and if you grow your zinnias, or any of your mass flowers, you could even do some liatris in there, any of your lilies, and it would give it a support. So you could have a little, do you want to pass it? And you can see inside. And by moving the skewers on the inside of it, can determine on how much space you need in there, you need to tighten it up. And I moved them several times last night when I was doing it, and you can see I pulled the lily grafts out and just repeated the pattern just to give it a little extra.
So you think also, you're thinking color the whole 9 yards when
Yes.
you're doing these? You're thinking
Yes.
the color of what the flower looks like?
The shape, and what I want the outcome to look. All of that. Do you do that when you design?
Kind of, sort of.
And I'll be honest, I would like the top one to be taller, because I feel like my proportion's off a little bit. But I had to take what I could get from the wholesaler, and she didn't have as tall as I wanted. Sometimes when I have that height problem, I will put in sticks. And this is barbed wire, it's wrapped. And you can see, none of these palas are in water. There's foam down here, but none of them are in water. I just was bending and playing and doing some support. This is barbed wire. It comes in several different colors. It comes from Smithers Oasis. It's fabulous. It has a wire exposed, so it's not yeah, the June twine is really hard to do. So sometimes it takes you really warm. You can put a straw for the bottom. So, and here, as we were talking, the calla lilies don't need to be in water. So let's say you're gonna have an impromptu dinner party and you're like, oh, I gotta go get something out of my yard. We can grow calla lilies down here, which is, I love being here, all the different things I can grow. And I just took some of the fine wire, or the bouillon wire, wrapped the stems, extended it out. I have these vases in all different sizes. So if I were doing it out of a bag, I'd probably go a little bit higher. But you know, you could elevate that up. You could put it on a cake plate and elevate it up. You don't always need a ton of flowers to make a huge visual impact. This was, we were talking and I broke the carnation, so I'm not gonna throw it away, I'm gonna use it. So there, I just got the focal point.
How long do you prepare your calla lilies? I mean, like overnight in water?
Overnight, a little bit of water, not deep, because if it's deep water, it will shatter those instead of too much. And here's another one of mine, those M&M vases. I absolutely love them. And I found these vases. I was at Home Goods on Tuesday, and I was like, oh, these would be so much fun. So I got them. I'm sorry? Oh, thank you.
What's the name of the vase again?
I call it an M&M vase.
Why do you call it that?
It just looks like an M&M.
It looks like it's suicide.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you. So, on this one, I used the flat snake wire. And this wire is so much fun. You can use it for massages, for boutonnieres. I've used it to make cuffs for bracelets. This one, I used it in here as my structure. I just kind of twisted it up, put it across the top, and I did some leaf manipulation with the aspidistra leaves and popped my flowers in. But one of the fun things you can do, if you have, if we're doing a buffet, and you wanted this in the center, do your two. I would make my bases identical. But then you could, you know, just twist it up, do some fun movement with it. But you can always connect. Now, how fun is that? And then you could take some of your petals, or if you had some lighter blues, I unfortunately don't have some lighter blues. I'll take my little glue tabs, love my glue dashes.
What you call it, glue what?
Glue dashes,
Okay, glue.
Glue, you don't need
and just pop them on there.
Now, how long will a rose petal last like that?
It'll last for an event. I've had them in bags last weeks. You know, I'll crush them apart and just put them in like a plastic bag, put them in the cooler, and they'll last absolute weeks. But then, you know, you can just throw some around, scatter. I love to scatter. Just some ideas, you know, when you do that, then you pop a few votives in, so you've elongated your arrangement. These are just some of my past designs and different projects I've worked on. This was for a shop's Valentine's Day photo shoot. That was a bouquet contest. That bouquet took me 12 hours to, with straws, reed straws. That was a photo shoot for a funeral. There's a lot of really random pictures and things that I've done. That was New Year's Eve. Now, I want to show you what my version of a dozen roses would look like. So I went ahead and I greened up a container. Y'all see it come through. Which is pretty by itself. I love the greenery. Sometimes I don't want to stick flowers in, but you gotta kind of do it. Customer wants.
What's the spiky thing?
So this, we believe, this is called woolly bush. That's what my wholesaler told me. I've sent pictures to a couple of my designer friends, and we're all coming back with different things. Sometimes the wholesalers get these mixed boxes. Susie said she's gotten it from an Australian box. I have to do some more research on that, but I thought it would really, really, really fun. I like fun stuff. Grab my roses. Let me grab the garbage can because I am a on the floor designer. Everything I design goes on the floor. So when I design, I've already greened it in, so you kind of have my height and my parameters for my size. And there's foam in here. I love to design in foam. I know it's not the fashion, but I can have so much more control with the way I want my design to go.
What kind of foam?
It's fresh foam,
Okay.
just fresh floral foam. Do you use
Which is the same as what we call Oasis?
Yes.
Okay.
But Oasis is the brand, is a brand,
Oh, okay, so.
so. I have to be careful on who I'm promoting.
I've asked this before to some, are you having any trouble getting that? Did you ever have trouble getting it last year? Okay.
I'm a hoarder.
Oh,
I have
okay.
cases in my attic and
Well, I had to throw some away because it didn't work after several years.
I use it so quick that I'm not keeping it for years. And I have, for me, too, I have the luxury because I travel so much, that just because they don't have it here, doesn't mean I can't get it at my wholesaler in Houston, or, you know, when no one else had glue here. I was in San Francisco, and I was able to find the Oasis glue. So, for me, it's kind of, you know, a unique situation.
So you don't take all your stuff with you when you travel, you buy it there?
If I drive, I take my toolbox, but no, most of the time, like even the flowers are shipped at. The wedding we just did this past weekend, we had 4,000 hydrangeas.
Oh.
So it was shipped, and I think there were 2,800 white roses, Playa Blanca roses. So no, we're not.
So you wouldn't fly with your toolbox?
No, if I fly, I take my tool belt.
I can't lose that one.
at a job of what I have to fly, and I was like, ah, I need my toolbox. But usually we have everything if we're flying.
For like events, do you have people who help you and you show them what to do and they, I mean, for a big event, it would be hard.
Yes.
So you sort of oversee the design.
Sometimes I'm just a designer.
Okay.
This past weekend, I was just a designer, and it's great.
Just the design.
Where did you do the
Design.
wedding this weekend? Where was the wedding?
In Dallas. It was not my event, I was working for someone else, it was their event, their vision. So I was just designing their vision, and it's fun. You know, made huge doorways.
That looks so much like a desert scene to me.
It does, these are kind of deserty. I liked the roses, because I think they're gonna open up really, really pretty. Are there any other questions?
Have you ever cut your finger?
Yes. All the time. All the time. But that's okay, you just keep going. Whole blood's good for it, right?
Can you mind telling me which wholesale floors do you use? There were only 2 in Memphis. Do you?
I think yesterday I went into Shamrock,
Okay.
and I was, I got my stuff from Miss Lynn, she's real nice. Then there's Metro. I have no problem with either of them. A lot of times I'll have stuff flown in.
Those roses are just so gorgeous.
They are, as far as the shade.
Okay, and I'm doing it backwards, so apologies if it's not perfect. I really like Jet Fresh, Jimmy the Tulip, it's a friend of mine, and he has phenomenal products. So there's your dozen roses.
Oh, wow.
It's a little different than your typical in a vase with baby's breath, which there's nothing wrong with it. There are some varieties of baby's breath out there that are incredible and smell just divine. But then I like the art part of it.
Would a boyfriend order something like that for his girlfriend?
Yes. But my clientele know that with me, they're going to get a piece of art. That is how I present it, and that's how I sell it. Now Valentine's Day, I will stand and I will line them up, dozen roses with baby's breath,
Oh.
and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I like to show people how much more, how it can be enhanced. Everything can be enhanced, right? We do our hair, we do our nails, the girls now are doing their eyelashes. Why not our flowers?
Can anyone shop at a wholesaler or do you have to have?
No, you have to have a
You
tax
gotta
number.
have a
Okay, so we're
connection.
handicapped, we did go.
But you know what? These roses, this dozen roses came from Kroger.
Had to wear.
This dozen roses came from Kroger.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like the colors that she had. It wasn't what I was looking for. And I was like, I'll just run into Kroger.
So you just have to use your imagination with this.
I'm not a flower snob. If I see something, well, okay, I am a flower snob. If I see something, I like it, I'm gonna use it. I'm not going to say, oh, that came from Kroger, I can't have that. Now, am I gonna book a $100,000 wedding with the flowers from Kroger? No, not at all. I'm gonna have them shipped in right directly from the field for me. But I have roses in my house all the time, and they come from Kroger.
And Kroger really is our only, it's our best resource, right?
You also can go, if you wanna take the drive up to Germantown, the Whole Foods has really a good variety.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, maybe, is it Trader Joe's? I just know how to get up there.
Trader Joe's is in Germantown.
Yes.
Whole Foods has some too.
Well, one of them has better variety, so. But you can see, just like that. I added some lilies, they'll pop open, and then they're gonna give you a lot of fragrance. So do I have you thinking differently about your dozen roses now? How many have rose bushes in their yards? Okay, did you have a question? Yes.
On your hanging installation,
So is that the one where it's at the Botanical Gardens? That particular one, I did that, I was freelancing with Oxford Floral. And we took massage pens and pierced right down into the rose in a tuck. And we hung that morning, and by that night, it came down and went into the garbage. Most of these large installations, that was in Seattle. Most of the large installations are just that for that day.
Can you tell us more about what you're gonna be doing in Italy?
I don't really know. I'm working for an event floor, so weddings, events, mostly weddings. There might be a few like bar mitzvahs and stuff like that, but it'll be mostly weddings. I think it's a wedding destination. It doesn't matter. I'm going to Italy. I mean, what flowers in Italy?
Do you have a website you post all this stuff on?
I have my Facebook page, but it's my personal page,
Oh,
and you're
okay.
welcome to follow me. I probably
I would like to see your summer Italy stuff.
I probably should have my own website, but like, I'm already booked up through this whole year. I have a handful of weeks available, so, I do fiber and moss art too, and I have an installation in Oxford at the Heartbreak Coffee. So, if you're down there, go in and say, hey, I saw that girl. I'm teaching a class at the Dixon Gallery and Garden on January 28th. And I believe the second in that series is April 22nd. Whatever that week is in April, I have to look at my calendar. I travel with my calendar. If I don't have my calendar, I'm lost. I've had to text Susie, hey, take a picture of my calendar. Does anyone have any other questions?
No, this is such a treat, though.
Thank you. I just want you to think about art in your home with your fresh flowers, what you have in your garden.
Okay, you are January the 28th and Saturday, April the 22nd.
Okay, so I did have my dates right.
In case anybody needs to know.
I hope you all come. It's gonna be fun. Dixon Gallery and Gardens. Have you guys all visited the Dixon Gallery and Gardens? It is phenomenal. And I think they planted like 300,000 tulips this year. It was some incredible number. If you look on their Facebook page, they're just showing people planting them, and it's incredible. I really want to go play with all the tulips once they're blooming.
Where did you grow up? Oh, that's such a good picture.
I grew up in Indiana. Does it show that I'm not a Southerner? I grew up in Michigan City, Indiana. It was about an hour of downtown Chicago. And then I met my husband, and he moved me onto a hog farm way off in the middle of Illinois. So Chicago's here, I was on the other side of the state. Our nearest neighbor was a mile away. The nearest Walmart was 45 minutes away, and I went absolutely crazy there. So when he got promoted to come down here, he wasn't off the phone with his boss, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm packing. I'm going to civilization. So.
And you ended up in Hernando?
Hernando is wonderful compared to where I came from. And Susie will attest to that because was from more by the city, and she said, boy, I thought I lived out in the country until I came out here. She goes, you guys are really out. It was
Hernando's wonderful, I live in Hernando.
And I'm in the country, and we're like towards Cockrum. We're in one of those subdivisions off Holly Springs Road, and honestly, I'm never home. I come home, switch out suitcases, do a load of laundry, and I was home this week, and I had too many days off. I was like, hey, this is not working for me. The one picture you saw of me, this was this wire for the corsage. I take them and put them on. This is the wire, you just play with it.
how do you wire them on?
No, I don't. I can wire corsages, and if that's what the client wants, I'll do it. I glue everything. It's so much faster, and I can be more creative, and I think they're more lightweight.
How do you glue a corsage on you though?
We Well, with this, I would use the glue stickies, my glue dashes. You put them on and just glue it on.
I would think the weight would pull the glue off.
No. It's it's like super glue for flowers.
Wow.
It's extremely strong.
No, but you're talking about flowers, I'm talking about how do you make the wire stick to your clothes?
Yeah, you use that glue tab.
Same thing.
Yeah, and then they pop off. You know, you put them on. 'Cause I had that one on all night long.
Oh, wow.
You just have to play with it. It's the best part of it, is seeing what it can do and, you know.
On the tulip arrangement, what are those sticks that you, I'm sorry, what on the table?
Oh,
Are those,
it's just a dry, I found a whole bundle of them actually at House to Home. And I thought they were really cool and they're very lightweight. You can pass it around.
Is it like bamboo maybe?
It's not a bamboo, I don't know what it is. I think it's like a reed. Yes, like a cattail maybe stem. It's super lightweight. But I like them because you can do really fun. I would have liked to got my edges cut a little bit straighter, but I didn't get the power tools out last night. But I happen to know to do that. The one bouquet I made that was for the contest, that was all the triangles put together. It's very geometrical. I took a Dremel and I spent 12 hours because I cut each one in thirds and then I sanded it all. That's when I had purple hair. That was probably the summer that when I had purple hair.
I think that's one reason Elizabeth
Yeah, she's probably not used to seeing many adults that have bright purple hair. This was a really fun, there's some on my fiber that I have. The one outside that was Art and Elements at Meadowbrook Hall. And I was with my husband traveling for the summer and I just would weave and weave and weave. And my sister-in-law, she's like, you know, you look like a hippie with your little bag of yarn. I was like, I know. This was a wedding I did in Northern Illinois for a girl that grew up with my daughter. That was her bouquet. She came out with her picture and her grandma's picture of their bouquets, and she told me, she goes, my cascade has to be longer. I was like, wow, how many feet longer do you want it? Do you need to have an attendant just carry your trail of your bouquet? So it was a lot of fun. And that was their machine shop. They cleaned it out, and see how long it is? She cleaned it out, and I said, okay. So when she asked me about coming up to do her wedding, I was like, okay, well, I need to know what your vision is, because if you're wanting baby's breath in mason jars, I'm not driving 10 hours for that. She says, no. She says, I want a patty wedding. I'm like, okay, we can work with that. Her dad, it was so fun, he got me a 10 by 12 trailer, some little, or 10 by 6, a little trailer. And I said, okay, well, that's a nice start. What else do you have? Because I also, you know, that was one of the things, I said, you guys gotta find me a reefer truck, because we're in Northern Illinois in August, and it could be 50, or it could be 110. So then he comes back and he's like, I got you a 53-foot semi-trailer. I'm like, good, now you've done your job. And then a little later in the week, he comes to me and he's like, well, I need to put the soda and the water in the trailer. My husband goes, there ain't no room in there. He says, I've got tables on top of the arrangements she's already made. He goes, she did not fill up a semi-trailer, and he opened the door. Then a few minutes later, I see the other trailer coming in, and he goes, she filled up a semi-trailer. I said, well, you don't give it to me if you don't want me to fill it up. This was my daughter's wedding last year, and this was in Nesbitt at the Cotton Gin.
Was that in Nesbitt?
Yes. Yeah.
It's beautiful, I know it.
Did you do all of it?
Yes, ma'am.
It was still your daughter's wedding.
I was working in South Georgia for 3 months, and when I left South Georgia, I had the flowers for her wedding in my vehicle. And I left on Saturday night, got home, and her wedding was on Friday. The transmission went out in my vehicle, and I had the rehearsal dinner, and everything was at our house.
All I can say is you're amazing.
one flower arrangement. So I felt like that was pretty good.
And treat yourself when you're in Italy, go to.
Oh, I'm gonna go see lots. I wanna go and take a mass with the Pope and
Make sure, go late up.
it's just, I'm a Polish girl, you have to go take mass with the Pope if you're in Italy. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Did I see a stole made out of flowers?
A skull?
A
Oh, a
skull.
shawl, yes, that was for Art and Bloom, we also do a fashion show. And that was part of the fashion show, and then there was also another lady that was wearing a hat.
Ma'am.
This was my Phoenix Rising project, I did that at the courthouse in Hernando during a farmer's market.
When I met Patty, it was, oh, I just know we need you in Senatobia.
You're so sweet.
So I got her name and number. Appreciate you so much.
That was.
Can we come kind of poke around?
You can absolutely come and poke around.
Yeah, come up close. I just want to see what those little things
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, just like what you said.
Yeah. There's two sizes. Yeah. You know, honestly, you can get a lot of chairs on flags and stuff like that.